We got some Seahawks headlines we got to talk about coming out of the front office. This has a sneaky impact on the season. Let's talk about it all in this episode of Seahawks Digest. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of the show that straddles the line between journalism and fandom. So, look, basically, I'm the guy sitting behind you in the emotional roller coaster of being a Seahawks fan, screaming as loud as I can. I mean, I'm an internet court jester, but I take the morning headlines, scroll through them, decide what to react, talk, discuss, vent to you about. If you have any interest in following along with that, hit that subscribe button. If you're already down there, I'm obliged to tell you to do the other YouTube-y things of hitting like, dislike, comment, so share, all of those buttons. You guys are fantastic. You help me see football and the Seahawks in a lot of different ways. But if you don't hit any of those buttons, no worries. I will still be here all season long to talk about headlines like this one about the Vikings taking our boy Nolan Teasley and what it means for the Seahawks. Now, you might say, Christian, I'm just a fan of the on-field product. What does losing an assistant general manager really have to do with my day-to-day existence as a Seahawks fan? And well, everybody's favorite slop AI headline generator, Sports Illustrated, had this article that I want to specifically talk to about. I also want to just reiterate something coming off of the ownership video that I did. Please go check that out. That's why I say subscribe. There's a little bit of a cohesive plot tied through all of these. And the impact, I think, is that we're seeing that the Seahawks are a winning culture. And I don't want to say that losing an assistant general manager pulls one plug out of the dam and then breaks everything. But it is interesting to me to objectively watch, the holistic process come together of how a team succeeds, and seeing that kind of goes from everybody from the strength and conditioning people to the medical, to the scouting, to the this, to that. And it's a GM, an assistant GM. Those are people that are pretty high up in helping organize all of that. So it is a great thing to see your friends go on to get great jobs. And it's not like someone was going to, this wasn't Game of Thronesian and John Schneider was going to get deposed in a coup. Great. Fantastic. He wants to go on, get another job. Good for him. Interestingly enough, and you may not have known that this was coming. If you did know that this was coming, I apologize. I have to kind of straddle talk. I have to talk to all levels of football fans, those that know every single detail and those that know none. But the biggest impact here is third-round draft picks in 2027 and 2028. Because he is a primary football executive and is a minority, and his compensation is part of the Rooney Rule. So even when we lose, we win. I want to say that again. We lost an assistant general manager and picked up 2 years' worth of draft picks. The Seahawks, obviously, in the 27 and 28 drafts, that's not going to impact this year, but it adds numbers in a way that I'm always curious how you never know how the dominoes are going to end up falling, but this certainly sets up two more dominoes that could get knocked over in a variety of different directions. Now, whether that is somebody, someone great gets drafted in one of those slots who ends up being a solid contributor, or knowing that we have those picks now over those years, we can trade other draft picks at other slots to make something happen. Or if it's, someone just, it ends up being a nothing, but any one of those could happen. But the overwhelming opportunities there exist for positive things to happen. Now, this article does not talk at all about who is going to replace him, and that will be an interesting facet to all of this. You want quality people to be hired, but I trust everybody that's still in that structure, even with ownership potentially changing, to fill this slot with another extremely well-qualified candidate. Paragraph down in that article, this is more of just the curiosity reaction thing. Sports Illustrated talks about this being something where the Seahawks just gain notoriety and people wanting to then potentially, the bottom line there, I think, was what was most succinct, how it was most succinctly put, easy enough for me to say, hard enough for you to hear. This could lead to more interviews down the line with Seattle executives, especially if the franchise continues to have success over the next several years. And again, even when we lose, we win kind of vibes. Because they're saying that, like, it's insane to me to think about the concept of we hire people who come in and help us succeed, and then when they get poached, we gain draft picks. So as long as we keep hiring quality people, we're basically hiring a person who's going to help us while they're here and going to help us when they leave. It does not, that's a positive feedback loop that does not seem fair to the other program, or to the other, I don't know what programs is, switching my pro and college fandom there. But I start stumbling over my words because I don't even know how to quantify that level of success, where it's like, win a Super Bowl, watch your boy go off and get a great job with the Vikings, and then, because the Vikings are no threat whatsoever, go ahead, do your whole thing with Kyler Murray and that dumpster fire of a quarterback room. And then, in exchange for seeing you go off to do bigger and better, we get draft picks, multiple, and not like 8th round conditional sort of like middle round stuff that could very positively impact the Seahawks. I don't know. It's really interesting to me to navigate an off season like this, where you're trying your best to avoid the Super Bowl hangover. And some of that, you don't know if it's going to even happen until you start playing, and there's some turnover on the roster, but you start to see the moves that are being made this summer with bringing in Charles, certain guys like Charbonnet getting back healthy. We've got running backs that Sean Alexander is saying going to be 1,000-yard rushers as rookies. Got some undrafted free agents coming in that seem to all be coalescing into this. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be allowed to say it, but you guys might be right in the comment section when you say that this year's team, I'm not going to say is going to be better, because I don't want to have that. Trust me, I will be plenty wrong in some huge ways over our course of being a viewer and content creator relationship. But so I'll say this could be a better team than last year's team. And also, though, doesn't look like there's going to be, even if this coming year is like just the same or plateaus kind of right, like there's no fall off coming, because they keep accumulating potential assets and potential moves and other just things that will help ensure that this is not a all in, was spent on one run, and then just things immediately fell apart. All right, into my rant. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Seahawks Digest. Thank you, everyone, for hitting that subscribe, like, dislike, comment, share, all of those buttons I'm required by the bosses to tell you about. Till next time, talk to you guys soon.